Hi, I'm Tamara Lackey, and on this episode of reDefine, I speak with New York photographer Jason Groupp about how he transitioned from being an assistant shooter to owning his own studio to building a thriving wedding photography business and eventually teaching other shooters exactly where to stick it. Check it out.
Adorama TV presents The reDefine Show with Tamara Lackey.
Hello, Jason Groupp.
Howdy.
How are you?
I'm wonderful. How are you?
Good. Thank you for joining me today.
Thanks for having me.
I want to talk to you about your, kind of iconic thing for a photographer, having a really nice studio in New York City. I've been there a couple times for some pretty cool events. And how did that all get started for you, like in terms of living the dream?
I was really lucky getting that space. I had been working for another studio below where I am now. And the building that we're in is kind of this arts and loft space.
Yeah.
And the people who own the building were very supportive of artists. And it was one of those places that was really difficult to get into. You kind of had to know somebody there.
Yeah.
And one day there was a little Post-it note up on one of the doors that said, looking for studio
Post-it
mates.
note.
Literally a Post-it note, like on a little bulletin board in our building.
Yeah.
I called the guy, we met, I wrote him a check that afternoon, and that was it. Yeah.
So, and had you known, were you in the market or just the opportunity presented itself?
In New York, it's kind of one of those things where, like, you know when the opportunity presents itself, and you got to do it.
You got to do it, yeah.
Yeah.
And then so, I remember this on social media, you doing this big shoot-off with Zach Arias.
Yes.
So what was that all about?
Well, I mean, I love challenges.
Really? I think I know that about
Wait
you.
a minute. And I think it's fun to be competitive with your peers.
Yes.
So anytime you can do something like that to keep yourself going is
But what was it exactly? Like, how did it evolve? Because I remember it was big. Like a lot of people were weighing in, and you guys were sharing shots. And it was a contest. And
well, I think him and I like to kind of jab at each other, about lighting and different kinds of stuff. So I think I forget who. I think I challenged him, and it kind of went from there.
Okay. And what was it? What did you guys actually do?
So we went out and we picked, I think, 4 locations, and we got a model
in New York. Yep.
I had a couple join us, and we challenged each other in different locations. So the first location, we were only allowed to take 3 pictures. So we had to get the
3
shot
clicks?
in 3 clicks.
3 clicks. Okay.
So that was the
That is
first
a
shot.
challenge.
The second shot, we were allowed to take as many pictures as we wanted, but we taped the back of the camera so we couldn't see anything.
So it's like a film shoot.
Right, so we had all of these challenges.
Yeah.
And then we, came back to studio, worked on our images, and then we had like 2 hours to get everything together.
Right.
And then we posted it on social media, on our blogs, and Zach posted it on his blog, and, anonymously all the pictures. So pick the ones that you like.
Oh, so nobody knows what they're voting, who they're voting for.
So they were voting for, which ones they liked.
Yeah.
And you had to choose.
And who won?
I did.
Yeah!
I like to win.
Yeah, you like to win. You like to be challenged, you like to win.
The funny part with the shot that won is I used Zach's assistant in the shot. So they all thought,
that was Zach.
Zach's loyal followers were kind of pissed.
That's funny.
Because I duped them.
That's very funny. Good. And you're really big into OCF.
I am.
Something about sticking it. What was that again?
So I think with off-camera lighting,
Yep.
in general, newer people find it challenging to know where to, I know how to work the camera, I know how to turn it on and off, I know what it does.
Not just newer people. People have been shooting for a long time if they're not completely versed. Yes.
That's true. So I like to say, I just don't know where to stick it. So I show you where to stick it.
And where do people stick it?
It doesn't matter where you stick it, you need to stick it somewhere.
Yeah. You just need
start.
to go with the sticking.
You need to start someplace by sticking it someplace.
Yes. And then instructionally, are you a fan of a certain technique or another, or what?
No.
Just keep it simple.
No, keep it really simple.
Yeah.
I think people get really bogged down by all the gear and all the soft boxes, and all that stuff is wonderful.
Right.
You should own lots of it, but
You should have lots of it.
lots and lots of it, but figure out what works best for you.
Yeah, kind of just come up with a simple process and just use it repeatedly.
Right.
Yeah, I completely concur.
Right. And the best way to find out how to do it is to do it.
Right. So tell me a little bit about 25, because we're going to go to a clip of it. What is it? How did you make it? What was it for?
So just down and dirty lighting setups and, again, showing you where to stick it.
Yeah.
Here it is, down and dirty. Here's 25 unique lighting setups. And one of the things that I found that was really good is when you do these lighting setups, to remember them and kind of have this memory of them. So we would give them names. So we would call like one like McDougal Street or one Chelsea or.
So you can kind of make it
like
muscle
that.
memory versus trying to figure it
Right.
out every time.
And so if you're working, and it was a great way to work with my assistant as well, to show them the different lighting things and say, hey, we're going to do, you know, that one.
Perfect. Okay, we're about to jump into a clip of that. Before we do that, though, can you let us know where people can find out more about you, social media, see your work?
JasonGroupp with 2Ps.com.
And on there, if that's your website, that's your work,
Yeah,
and then they
you
can
can get
find
everything
links to
there.
you. Fine.
Yep.
Perfect. Okay, we're going to jump to the clip. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Here we are. It's the suite at the Hojo in North Bergen, New Jersey, with our heart-shaped tub, and Elise is on our bridal suite bed. And this could possibly be the worst situation that I could ever imagine myself in. There's mirrors behind there. There's no lights. Whatever lights we do have in the room, most of them aren't working. And so I surveyed the room and I figured, all right, let's make the best of it and let's do what we can. So I don't really want to use a lot of the available light in here, so I'm still going to stay at a low ISO. I'm going to go to 320 ISO. I'm going to go to aperture priority because I don't really need to worry about my shutter speed anymore, because I know that I want to shoot as wide open as possible, blur out whatever I possibly can. So I'm going to go to 3.2 and just bang off a quick exposure and see what I get. No flash. I'm going to shoot real close, and I'm down to like 1/8 of a second. So I know that, let me just get rid of it, all of it. So I'm going to go from 1/8, let's see, 1/8, stop would be 10th, 15th. I'm going to go all the way to like 1/60th of a second and switch to manual at f 3.2. And I'm still picking up a little bit ambient light. It'll just warm it up a little bit. I'll turn my flash on. Lindsay is shooting through the shears just to kind of diffuse the light a little bit. And we'll turn on. And good. Now there's just a little bit of light coming through. Kind of give it a back up a little bit off the shear, Lindsay. Good. And I'm going to open up a little bit. I'm going to 2.8 at 1/60th of a second. And we have what's the beginning of what could be a nice shot. I'm going to get up real high. Lift up your chin a little bit. Good. Good. And there we go. Our first shot, St. Mark's Place, dingy hotel room.
Thank you, Jason. Excellent techniques. And congratulations on your new role as director of WPPI. Join me here next time on Adorama TV, and don't forget to subscribe to Adorama TV for all kinds of amazing content from very teachy photographers.
Do you want great looking prints at low cost? Be sure to visit our easy-to-use online printing service. Adorama Pix has professionals who treat your images with the utmost care that you can count on. For a quick turnaround on photos, cards, or albums, use adoramapix.com.